Well, everyone, it's been about a month since I bought the Samsung Galaxy S22, and I wanted to kind of make a quick follow-up review about the S22 about 1 month later. Now, I'm not going to go super crazy in detail. I've talked about this phone so much for the last month or so, and I've done all sorts of comparisons and everything, and I think I'm at a really good understanding with this device. And since the iPhone SE3 came out, we've been kind of taking our attention off the S22, and it's crazy about the half-life of some of these, the hype behind some of these phones. Now, I personally think the Galaxy S22 is a pretty good phone overall. I don't think it's perfect, but I do think as a phone that if you just want to go and pick up a phone and move on with your life, I really don't think it's that bad of an option. I think it's one of the best phones you can buy, but if you have the money, like I mentioned before, I think it would make a lot more sense going up to something like a Galaxy S22 Plus or a Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Those ones may be the better ways to go in some places, but I will leave the S22 link down in the description. You can get it from there, and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now with the body, nothing really has changed. It still looks great, it still looks beautiful, and there's really not too much to complain about here. But funny enough, a lot of Samsung Galaxy S22s have been popping up in the used market. Now this is probably the biggest thing that has changed probably since the beginning of this phone's release, and I guess it's with some of these phones, I don't know, people don't like them anymore or something, and they just kind of went ahead and just started reselling them. Now I definitely don't think it's a big deal or anything. I love Samsung's phones, and I think they do a great job at, the hardware, the displays always look good, but it's strange because I've been seeing some Samsung Galaxy S22s for around $600. I've seen some, S22 Ultras for a little bit more, probably around $800, maybe $900 as well. And it's crazy because it's only been out for about a month, and I do want to say some of these may be scams. Sometimes they get the phone on contract and then they end up reporting it stolen. So I'd probably recommend, being a little careful there, but I'm seeing a little bit of a more, but I'm definitely seeing these prices in the used market go down already, which is pretty insane. But this is typically what happens with Samsung phones. And I think that's the biggest thing that's changed, at least in terms of the external price dropping and everything. I will tell you though, this phone got a really, really big update, and one of its first updates in general, at least in the American department. And that was for the essentially giving us the ability to turn off that GOS, the game optimizing service, whatever it was called. That little option where it would throttle our games sometimes. And for some people who play Genshin Impact, personally I do play Genshin Impact sometimes, and it looked like it throttled the performance. Personally though, and I talked about this before, I didn't really feel like I had that type of situation going on. It felt very, very fast, and even compared to my S21 or S20's performance, I felt like it was improved, or if not the same, but it looked like that GOS service was also being tailored for the S21 and the Galaxy S20, and apparently the Galaxy S10 as well. And it was such a big deal that, certain Geekbenching scores like Geekbench actually went ahead and removed them from their services. So that was a big deal, but Samsung has released pretty much a software update to give us the ability to turn that off. So that's a big thing to keep in mind. Typically, I'm kind of upset that Samsung did that in the first place, but I'm also kind of happy that they kind of addressed the problem and fixed it. But it's strange, they should have just given us the ability like they used to give us the ability before. So that's probably one of the biggest changes that's happened since the Samsung Galaxy S22's release. Now on top of that, personally, like I mentioned, I don't really find myself using or, going to my Galaxy S22 or even thinking about my Galaxy S22 that much. It seems like I mentioned, that the hype kind of died down and a lot of people kind of stopped talking about this phone. I think it has a lot to do with the Mac Studio coming out and all the Apple products Apple ended up pushing out, including the new iPhone. So those are things that kind of happen year over year. But as I mentioned before, with something like the Galaxy S22, it really has focused more so on the software than on the hardware. And I think the Galaxy S22 is going to be an amazing phone for the future of this device. The hardware, there really isn't anything special. I'm glad they brought the frosted glass back, and it actually does make a pretty big difference. I'm really not happy that they decreased the battery size, although I'm getting really good battery life from my Galaxy S22. I think it's about the same as my S21, to be completely honest. There's really not a crazy big amount of difference, but I'm actually really happy with what Samsung did with the software side, and I think it's going to plant so many seeds in the future for Samsung for their software longevity standpoint. With the S21, with the S20, and even with the S10, they kind of increased the software longevity a little bit. It wasn't until the S20 came out and the Note 20 came out, that's when they started increasing the software. Now with the Samsung Galaxy S22, with the increase in software standpoint, that is amazing, and I love seeing that from Samsung. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the best software in general, because like I said, Samsung has been kind of doing some weird things with that GOS toggling and all that stuff. But I do think over time, we're going to get to a point where the Samsung Galaxy S22, we're going to look back and probably think it's one of the more important Samsung phones, Samsung made. And I think especially since the S21 was such a weird device, I think with the, hardware improvements like Samsung did with the S22 and the software longevity they're adding, I think this is going to be a really decent phone, at least in terms of the general future. So personally, 1 month later, a lot of things have changed. We now have some price drops for the Galaxy S22. We have, a big software update for this phone, which kind of allows us to stop throttling for this phone. And we've kind of seen the market of this phone change a little bit. People are selling this phone now. And I think personally, the biggest thing the S22 brought was the software improvements and the software enhancements for the future. So that's kind of how this phone's held up in the last month. Nothing else really changed in my opinion. It's still a really good phone. I switched to this phone not too long ago, and it really didn't change my opinion. It's exactly how I thought it was before. So that kind of covers it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.